I used to wonder what it felt like to be loved by your family, to have parents who looked at you like you mattered, siblings who treated you like blood instead of a burden. But in my house, I wasn't a daughter. I wasn't even a sister. I was a maid. Anna, where's my shirt? You ironed it, right? My older brother's voice boomed through the hole like I worked in a laundromat. I pressed the shirt against the ironing board, the steam burning my fingers. Almost done, I muttered, though I knew he wouldn't even bother to thank me. From the living room, my mother shouted, "Anna, mop the floor before guests come tonight. And don't forget to cook dinner. Your father invited his colleagues." I wanted to scream, "I'm not your maid." But instead, I swallowed the words. That was the thing about growing up in my family. Silence became survival. I was the youngest daughter, but instead of being the baby of the house, I was treated like free labor. My sister, Bella, was the princess. Perfect grades, perfect hair, perfect clothes. Everyone adored her. My brother, Lucas, was the golden boy, groomed to take over Dad's business someday. And me? I was the invisible one, the one scrubbing their dirty dishes, folding their clothes, covering for their mistakes. The only time anyone remembered I existed was when something needed to be done. I used to think maybe I deserved it. Maybe I wasn't good enough, pretty enough, smart enough. But the truth was simple. They never gave me a chance. And then everything changed the year I turned 19. It started on a cold Monday morning when I walked into Knight Enterprises for my first day as an intern. The building rose like glass knives against the sky, intimidating and powerful. The company was everything I wasn't: polished, respected, untouchable. I clutched my cheap tote bag, wishing I didn't look so out of place among the expensive suits. My shoes pinched, my palms were sweaty, but inside my chest, something burned, the desperate hunger to prove myself. "Anna Reyes?" a voice called. I turned and froze. Standing a few feet away was Adrian Knight, the CEO himself. He was taller than I imagined, his presence sharp enough to slice through steel. Dark hair, perfectly styled, a tailored suit hugging his broad frame, gray eyes that could strip you down to the bone. The kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice to command a room. My throat went dry. "Yes, sir?" His gaze lingered on me, unreadable. "You're the new intern?" Yes, sir." I managed, clutching my tote tighter. "Good. Don't waste my time," he said, then strode away with his bodyguards. For a second, I couldn't breathe. The air felt heavier after he left, as if the walls themselves bowed to his authority. By lunchtime, I already knew the whispers around the office. Knight doesn't tolerate incompetence. He fired an assistant last week for being 3 minutes late. No one dares talk back to him. Most interns prayed to stay invisible, but somehow, on my first day, Adrian Knight noticed me. I couldn't explain it, but part of me knew it wouldn't be the last time. That night, I dragged myself home exhausted, but proud. For once, I had a glimpse of a future that wasn't mopping floors or ironing shirts. But the second I stepped through the door, reality came crashing back. "Anna, where have you been?" my mother shrieked. "Do you know guests are arriving any minute? You didn't even set the table." My father glared at me over his glasses. "You think your little internship makes you special? This house doesn't run itself, Anna. Don't forget your place." My place. Always a reminder, I wasn't one of them, I was beneath them. I bit my tongue and set the table, but that night, lying in bed, I whispered to myself, one day they'll regret this. One day I won't be their maid. Weeks passed, and I worked harder than anyone at Knight Enterprises. I stayed late, organized files, memorized reports. The other interns went out for drinks. I stayed in the office until the janitors arrived. And that's when Adrian started noticing me again. One evening, as I carried a stack of folders to his office, I nearly collided with him in the hallway. The papers slipped from my hands, scattering across the marble floor. I'm so sorry, I stammered, dropping to my knees to gather them. But before I could, Adrian crouched too, picking up a file. His eyes met mine, sharp, but curious. You stay late every night, don't you? My breath caught. Just trying to learn. For a second, something flickered in his gaze. Interest, maybe? Then he straightened, handing me the folder. Don't waste your potential cleaning up after others, he said before disappearing into his office. Those words hit me like lightning. Don't waste your potential cleaning up after others. For the first time in my life, someone saw me. I should have known that nothing good lasts forever. One Friday evening, my family called me downstairs, unusually cheerful. Bella sat on the couch in a sparkling dress, Lucas in a crisp shirt. My parents were fake smiles that looked painful. What's going on? I asked cautiously. Mom clasped her hands together. Sweetheart, we have a special guest tonight. Sweetheart? They never called me that. Then the doorbell rang. Dad rushed to open it. And when I saw who stepped inside, my heart nearly stopped. Adrian Knight, my CEO, in my house? My family swarmed him with greetings, their voices dripping with fake politeness. Welcome, Mr. Knight. Please sit. I stood frozen, clutching the hem of my worn sweater. And then, the unthinkable happened. Anna, darling, Mom cooed, grabbing my arm and pulling me forward. This is our precious Princess Anna. Princess? My jaw nearly hit the floor. For years, they treated me like dirt, a maid, a nobody. But the second Adrian Knight walked into our living room, suddenly I was their princess? My stomach churned with disgust. Adrian's eyes flicked to me, his expression unreadable. We've met, he said simply, his tone sending shivers down my spine. My family laughed awkwardly, scrambling to cover their slip. Of course. Anna is very hardworking. We're so proud of her. I wanted to scream, liars! But instead I stayed silent, burning the memory into my mind. That night, as Adrian sipped wine and my family showered me with fake affection, one thing became clear. They weren't doing this out of love. They were doing it because of him. And Adrian knew it. That night with Adrian Knight at our dining table never left my mind. The fake laughter, the forced affection, my mother clutching my hand like she hadn't spent years shoving chores at me. My father calling me princess like it didn't taste like poison on his tongue. But the part that burned most was Adrian's silence. The way he sat there, sipping his wine, as if he already knew every lie in that room. And maybe he did. The morning after his visit, my family treated me like a celebrity. Anna, honey, don't wake up too early. You'll get tired, Mom said sweetly. The same mom who used to bang on my door at 6 a.m. to mop the floor. Need breakfast? I'll make it, Bella offered with a plastic smile, even though she'd never touched a frying pan in her life. Lucas, who used to bark at me to polish his shoes, suddenly said, I can drop you to work if you want. It should have felt good, validation, respect. But instead, it felt like acid burning my throat. Because it wasn't love. It was strategy. They weren't seeing me, they were seeing him. At Knight Enterprises, things grew more complicated. Adrian called me into meetings, asked for my opinion, made me sit beside him while board members gawked. One afternoon, he slid a file toward me. Read this. Tell me what you'd do differently. My hands trembled as I scanned the proposal. The other executives exchanged looks like, Why her? I hesitated, but answered honestly, suggesting a change in marketing strategy. For a moment, silence. Then Adrian smirked. Exactly what I was thinking. The executive's jaws tightened. My chest fluttered with something dangerous. Hope. For the first time, my brain wasn't dismissed. My words mattered. But I also knew what my family would do if they realized Adrian valued me. They'd use me, the same way they always had. One evening, as I returned from work, I overheard Bella's voice from the living room. Adrian clearly likes her. We can't let that happen. My footsteps froze. Mom hissed, then find a way to keep him close to us. If Anna rises, we all rise. Do you understand? I nearly laughed. If Anna rises, as if I was some pawn on their chessboard. But inside, something shifted. No longer was I their maid. No longer was I their forgotten daughter. I was the weapon, and they didn't even know it yet. A week later, Adrian summoned me to his office. The door clicked shut behind me. His gray eyes locked onto mine. I swallowed hard. No, sir. He leaned back in his chair, lips curling slightly. Do you know why I went to your house that night? I pulsed hammered. Confirm what? That you are nothing like them. I froze. Adrian's voice was low, dangerous. Your family treats you as disposable, but the moment they saw me, they turned you into a princess. Don't think I didn't notice. I see through masks, Anna. My throat closed. He knew. Then he leaned forward, his gaze sharp as a blade. So here's my advice. Don't let them use you, because when the time comes, I won't protect them. I'll protect you. I left his office shaking, not from fear, but from power. For the first time in my life, I had someone on my side, and I was going to use it. It happened faster than I expected. Bella applied for a junior role at Knight Enterprises, flaunting her perfect resume. She dropped my name casually in her interview, saying we were so close as sisters. But she didn't know Adrian had already warned me. The next day, Adrian called me into his office again. He slid Bella's resume across the desk. Should I hire her? He asked, his eyes glinting with mischief. I stared at the paper. The lies screamed at me. Exaggerated grades, fake experience, even projects I knew she stole. I could have protected her. I could have stayed the good daughter. But instead, I met Adrian's gaze and said, no, she doesn't deserve it. His smirk widened. Good answer. And just like that, Bella's dream crumbled. At dinner, she lashed out. Why didn't you tell me Adrian rejected me? You work there. You could have said something. I sipped my water calmly. Maybe he just saw through your lies. Her face twisted with rage. Mom jumped in. Don't fight. We need him on our side. Anna, you must keep him close. Do you hear me? For the family. For the family. Always for them. Never for me. But not anymore. I started playing along, smiling at their fake affection, pretending to be their princess, letting them think they were winning, all while I whispered the truth to Adrian. Every lie they told, every trick they plotted, every scheme to use me as their puppet. He listened and waited. Until the night of the annual Knight Enterprises Gala. The ballrooms sparkled with chandeliers, filled with the city's most powerful people. My family dressed in their finest, clinging to me like leeches. This is it. Tonight we show everyone that you're the jewel of our family. I almost laughed. Now I'm the jewel? Adrian entered the room, commanding attention without a word. And then, in front of everyone, he called my name. Anna Reyes, come forward. My heart pounded as I stepped onto the stage beside him. My family beamed with pride, thinking this was their victory. Then, Adrian spoke. Every company needs people with integrity, people who rise despite being stepped on. Anna Reyes is one of those people. She worked her way here with no handouts, no shortcuts, no privilege. She is nothing like the family that tried to hold her back. The crowd gasped. My family froze, their smiles shattering. I stood taller, my blood singing with revenge. Adrian wasn't just praising me, he was exposing them. And in that moment, they lost everything. Whispers spread like wildfire. My family's reputation crumbled. The Princess Act was over. At home, the mask fell completely. Mom screamed, Dad raged, Bella cried, "You ruined us!" I looked at them calmly, years of pain finally spilling from my lips. No, you ruined me. You treated me like a maid, like trash, and now you're tasting what you gave me. They begged, pleaded, promised to change, but it was too late. I wasn't their maid anymore. I wasn't their scapegoat. I was Anna Reyes, the forgotten daughter who rose from nothing, and I would never bow to them again. Weeks later, I walked through the Knight Enterprises lobby, head held high, not as an intern, not as a nobody, but as Adrian's protege, his chosen successor. My family's calls went unanswered. Their fake love couldn't reach me anymore. Because in the end, I had learned the greatest revenge wasn't just exposing them, it was becoming untouchable. If you enjoyed watching this story, we would truly appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us and keeps us motivated to create more